Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't have an opening yet, so just bear with me. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. Pile 1. I wrote some notes down while I was doing your shuffling for your cards, and I got the names Micah, Andy, Peter, Paul, right? And then I read a scripture that I was led to read in the Bible, and it had talked about being able to sit next to the king. A man being able to sit next to the king, but both of his feet were crippled. And then I was led to another scripture, and that scripture talked about worshiping more than one God. And so, yeah, so I pre-shuffled your cards, so let's just put it out. So the first card says, King Jin dismantled, Queen Jin handled, return to realms. The second card says, you are destined to build this empire, so stop thinking at a franchise level. Connectivity and expertise is the key here. The third card says, which is the Alchemist card, transmute your hate and resentment into forgiveness. You are most welcome. The fourth card says, this is a Nefertari and Ramses the second kind of love. The fifth card says, give up the ghost or regret awaits. And the first card from the second row says, they are still in love with you and actually want to admit it. Okay. The second card says, go back to your luxury underwater home. The answer is there. The third card says, these two countries being allies is your financier's best move. And the fourth card says, you are irresistible and charming. Use it to your advantage. And the last card is the Theseus card, and it says, it's all about the details, advantages, and inside help. A purpose far greater than the eye can see. Okay. So, just off of the images for the cards that were shuffled and selected by, I'm going to say, my spiritual team. Thank you. Yes, I do believe in guardian angels and a spiritual team. Thanks. All right. So, based off of that, I'm going to say there's a lot of Egyptian ties here. And I say Egyptian ties, and when I thought that to myself off of the cards that I saw back in the day when I used to go on my laptop and I used to play a game called Senate. Now, Senate is like the original game for chess, but it was only played amongst the royals. So I would play Senate against the computer because I could never find anybody to play with, right? So I remember when I told my brother, and I call my brother Ra because it's short for, his actual name. So every time I would see the sun, I would say Ra, 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 like. So, but anywho, that was an inside joke. And so I told him about the game Senate, and I was like, yes, the Egyptian game, that you can play in X, Y, and Z. And he told me, he said, do not ever play that board game with somebody in the physical realm. So I just took it as that. I'm not supposed to play that game, right? Because he's very prophetic, I want to say. Like, he's a prophet in his own right, right? So, but anyway, so I thought about the game of Senate, and I feel like it's equivalent to whoever you are, you have been playing the game of Senate, Egyptian chess, with King Jins and Queen Jins and just people of that are powerful in their own right. But the game is being played in such a way where you're playing to win, right? And, or they are, whoever you're going up against is playing to win. And you are playing, or you're starting to learn to play from the form of like a pure heart, right? So let's say in the beginning when you started playing this game of Senate, and I'm talking from not physical terms, but like metaphorically speaking, you're playing a game of Senate, right? Let's say in the beginning you were playing from a space of ego. Then you were playing from a space of, being scared. Now you're playing from a sense of being brave. And you're realizing whenever you play from ego, you automatically lose. Whenever you play from, a lack of confidence or just being afraid to play, you still lose. So now in learning to play with a pure heart, you're realizing in playing with a pure heart, it's not just about good and evil, like you do something and it's good spirited. When you're playing from a pure heart, you're able to play from a sense of balancing everything, right? So, and when I say balancing everything, I mean you're learning to use strategy, you're learning to use your intuition, and you're learning to use your advantage points, right? So it's like mastering the game. Like you finally understand how to play this game of Senate. And you're coming down to like the final game, and you realize you feel like you have a physical disadvantage. Maybe something really is wrong with your feet in the physical realm, or you feel like you are disabled to the point where even if the king were to stand up and walk away, you can't because your feet are crippled, right? Or your feet have crippled from a spiritual sense. So I thought about that. Checking my notes. Yes, and this is in regards to now you're also playing to serve humanity, but it's like serving humanity at a grander scale where you're bringing in allies rather than opposing forces, right? So it's all about the details. So I'm going to break apart your reading because I don't want to overgeneralize to the point it's just like a vague answer or there's something you're seeking here. You want the answer to it, but I don't want to just give a cliche, home is where the heart is kind of thing. But in this case scenario, home is where the heart is, and the heart leads you to the answer that you're seeking. So let's break this down. So King Jin dismantled, Queen Jin handled, returned to realms. They are so in love with you and actually want to admit it. So let's clarify these two cards. And it's like somebody, and the chess card comes out. Wow. Oh, okay. I'm going to put this to the side. Give me another card specifically for these two cards. Okay. So you made the right decision for yourself as well as others that were involved. So this is the military card, okay? Paris is significant. And I also find that when I'm trying to speak, I'm trying to look for the words to say as if there is a form of a language barrier. So that could be significant as well. Like maybe where English is my first language is not to the person who chooses this pile. And I feel like this person speaks French or can speak French, or that's the original language. That's what I'm getting, because it's like I want to express it, but there's a language barrier into how I express this. Okay, so you got the military card, making the right decision. And for the chess card, it says, what's a pawn to a rook? When positioned in the right space at the right time, they are equally as dangerous and fearless. Don't underestimate the one who has the power to transform, which is the pawn, right? Like when you look at a game of chess, And not talking about the original game, Senate, with the Egyptians. But when you look at a game of chess and you look at all the pawns on the board, they can transform into the most powerful piece. So in actuality, that's why, like, a lot of the times when I would play chess with my mom, or I would play chess with my brothers, right? I was also taught, like, okay, these are powerful pieces, but you want to take out as many pawns as you can, right? Because they can always transform. So, I mean, I don't know how I play now. It's been a long time, but but there's something about your level of positioning, what you know, right? So, taking the part of the scripture that I got, sitting next to the king, right? But your feet are crippled. Okay, so if you're sitting next to the king, that means you can see all the decisions this person's going to make, how they're going to move, what they're going to do next, right? And maybe you don't have the level of power that this person holds, but you do have the I want to say the insight and the foresight in order to understand, should you ever have to come up against this person, you would know exactly what to do, who to utilize in order to win. It's given me that, like, somebody who, it's like a couple, like a king or a queen, or a couple of people, a couple of powerful people who taught you how to play the game. They actually love the fact that you know how to master the game. But they kind of put you in a position where you can't just easily walk away. And so I feel like there's something here. It's a decision that you will make, whether it's to heal yourself or like, there's a move you're gonna make. I'm not supposed to say that whoever this king or queen is does not see coming, but it feels fated. Whatever this is just feels like it's destined to happen anyway. Give me one more card for this. Well, be upset all you want. So the card that came out was a decision maker card, but this is in regards to love. So it says, be upset all you want. I'm not quitting on us. I'll fight anyone for you. It's making me think about fresh, right? So, because what I fixated on or zoomed in on, and with me when I'm reading the cards, sometimes certain words will just pop out at me, right? So I thought about position, and then I thought about queen, right? Queen's position, or putting someone's position of a queen to good use. So I thought about the movie Fresh, and in the movie is the son and the father. They're playing chess, right? There's a lot of strategizing here. So they're playing chess, and the son keeps trying to build like this sort of fortress around his queen. And the father had to teach him. He was like, why do you keep holding back the queen? You're supposed to use her. Like, you're supposed to put her out there for your benefit, like pretty much in order to win the games. Like, you can position the queen anywhere. And he took that and he used it in his real life. Like, who was the queen in his life? The queen was his sister, right? He knew that he wanted to get his sister out of the whole trade, out of the whole drug trade that she was in. And he knew that he wanted to get her away from the kingpin, right? And this was the person who ran the whole city, ran the whole community, practically ran different parts of the world. So he had to play smart about it. So he had to use the queen, being his sister, to his benefit, right? In order to not only take out the main players, but in order to save the queen via his sister in the movie, and in order to save himself and his family. Because initially what he wanted to do was he was so good at and so well respected at the role that he played that he was looking for ways. He knew there was no way out unless he took the main people out, and he knew that he wanted him and his sister out at the same time. So it feels like that. Like, it feels like there's somebody that you love very much that you want out at the same time. You want to make sure that you can leave. You can take whoever your queen is, or your sister, whatever the case, and you can leave with them at the same time, and you don't ever have to look back, right? And there's something about not showing emotion. Like, you don't show a lot of emotion, but when you actually can, it's like you're going to be very emotional about this move that you make. Okay, so what else do I need to clarify here? Go back to your luxury underwater home. The answer is there. So let's clarify this card. Destined to build an empire. Hold on, guys. That one fell on the floor. Okay, so the card that fell on the floor was a decision-making card, and it says, I'm trying to be your one and only. Side note, this person is protective. But I'm going to put it back in the deck because the fact that it fell on the floor, I'm just not going to take it. Okay, so the card that came out for you was, in an alternate universe, they are alive and waiting for you to figure it out. I feel like you're going to take that how this resonates, right? This is like if you can travel, it's like traveling through many times. And it's making me think about the time traveler's wife, where he kept traveling back to the times where he knew what home they were going to pick. He knew the child that they were going to have. He knew everything, right? But he kept going back in time to make something specifically like right, like perfect, right? And there's always a moment, no matter what time, like how many times he travels back and forth through all these like time lapses, what's inevitable is him getting hurt, right? And he got hurt in such a way where like they were hunting, like the family was like hunting for deer. Bear with me, guys, it's been a while since I saw this movie, but they were hunting for like an animal, and they shot him because he time traveled to a space where he was bare, but they shot him. Like, he was bare in the woods, but they shot him in the woods, and he couldn't survive like the hit, no matter how many times he tried to go back. So he makes it a point to where he only, like, he sees his wife, I think it's like once a year or something of that nature. And for once a year, they have a few moments to just be together. And then she always asks him, like, where are you now? And he'll tell her, well, oh, we're having Thanksgiving. Like, we're having Thanksgiving dinner at this time in this year, and what have you. And they're with each other for a few moments, and then he disappears, right? So there's something about you're doing something in the name of love, right? But this is a very deep love. This is a love that has like transformed throughout all space and time, and transforms all space and time. So somebody is waiting for you to figure it out. They're like, they know, whoever this person is, they know you're going to get it, right? They know you're eventually going to put two and two together, and it's all going to click. Like, it's going to make sense. But it's the waiting process. Like they can't really express to you. It's like they know, but when you get there, when you get to that alternate universe where you can coexist with this person, they can finally like tell you, or you can finally be relieved to know like you did it. So let's clarify. Transmute your hate and resentment into forgiveness. You're most welcome, and these two countries being allies is your financier's best friend. Best friend? Well, best move. So best friend is significant here. Like best friend. Or you could have a financier that's a best friend. Transmute hate and resentment into forgiveness. You're most welcome. These two allies. You are experiencing the love of a high-ranking earth angel. Don't anger them, okay? So, all right. This is what it looks like to me. It looks like the minute you allow yourself to release the past of something, release what has you so angry and hateful towards something or someone. Because really what I see here is very hurt feelings, right? So the minute you're even willing to release a modicum, like a really small amount of that resentment and that hate, something comes in. And the thing that I thought about is the teacher comes in when the student is ready, right? So something or someone comes in to help you and to guide you. You only got one job. And your one job when this person comes in to help and to guide you is don't piss them off, right? There's something, I don't know why I had to say it like that, but do not get them frustrated and angry with you on purpose. So the fact that the countries, two countries, I see this being as maybe you and this person are from two different worlds, right? Your financier's best friend. You may be coming to this person for some sort of financial advice or business advice on how to move. Okay, so maybe usually when you're coming to somebody for advice or when you're paying for somebody's services, maybe you have a certain demeanor to you. Like, I'm giving you the money, give me the answers, right? With this, you cannot, whoever this person is, you cannot approach them like that. That's not how they operate, okay? So there's something about that. So the card that came out was time to back their attitude into a corner until they calm down. This is another decision maker. All right, so somebody is going to approach you with this idea. Whether this is your accountant or this is somebody's going to approach you with this idea of, well, like pushy, like very pushy. Well, why do you need this when you can, why are you going to pay for this service when you can just have this done or do this or do that? Somebody does not believe in spirituality and they don't believe in certain services the way you do. Let's say, and I'll give a clear example, okay? Let's say you believe in tarot readings. You believe in spirit guides and guardian angels and, people in the spiritual realm contacting earth angels to communicate certain messages. But your accountant doesn't. All they know is numbers, right? All they push is numbers. Numbers are there, they're effective, they're on a sheet, they can calculate, subtract, divide, whatever they have to do, right? So they don't believe in this act of service that you're willing to pay for in order to get a business answer, okay? So maybe they're gonna come off pushy, or maybe you're gonna send this person, okay, I want you to do this to pay for this service. And this person doesn't believe in that, right? There's something you have to do very carefully, and there's something you have to do with charm. You have to be as charming as you are calculating. Okay, so the card that came out was Decree, Declare, and Demand how your day is going to go. For the next set of cards, which is, this is the Nefertari Ramesses kind of love, Ramesses the second kind of love, and you are irresistible and charming, using it to your advantage. You have to decide how this relationship, how this partnership, how this union is going to play out. But you have to decide it. Remember what I said from the beginning. When you're playing with you're playing Senate, you have to play with a pure heart, so it brings into balance everything you want to do in order to win. So you have to play your hand with good intentions. Okay? There's something about good intentions, not, oh, because this person knows a lot, oh, because this person's very smart, oh, because this person can make me a lot of money. You can't look at it from that standpoint, because if you just look at it from that standpoint, what are you basing it off of? Ego, right? It's all about you, and nothing to do with this person besides what they can give you. You have to take a different approach. Last two cards. So give up the ghost or regrets await. And it's all about the details. Advantages, inside help. A purpose for far greater than the eyes can see. So that's the Theseus card, right? And what came out was, a person does not have to be the most attractive to be the most beautiful in the room. Okay. So, let's see here. So Theseus, you could be somebody into Greek mythology. And then the card that came out, that's my Aphrodite card. So this is why I say that. You believe, like, so you are, you have a certain level of knowledge or interest in mythologies, right? But especially Egyptian mythology, it seems like. Or you come from an Egyptian past, but you're so fascinated with all the other mythologies, right? So Theseus is probably something or someone you resonate with, or the idea of the character of Theseus. And he went through a lot, right? He went through, not like, from what I understand in the documentary that I saw, he went not really knowing his real father. And so when he finally came across his real father, right, he realized that he was born into royalty, or he was rich, or his father was well off, like ruling lands and stuff like that, right? And I'm paraphrasing in my own interpretation of the documentary. But anywho, before he gets to his father, he has to go through so many trials and tribulations. Like, he has to escape death. He has to know how to fight his way out of certain battles. He even has to, like, off a couple of people just to get to his real father. Okay, so he gets to his real father, and this can all be spiritual or symbolic for you in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be, like, technical, okay? So he gets to his father, and he understands that he has a greater purpose. Okay, so he has the money, he has the title, he has the royalty, he has the privileges, but it's a greater thing that he has to do. So he has to bring two places together, or to come in union with two places. And if I'm not mistaken, please don't quote me on this, but Poseidon, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Poseidon that created the labyrinth, and then his daughter led Theseus out with the red ribbon. But bear with me, I saw it once. But anywho, having experienced that, right? Like, going through everything, like this man went through hell and back. So I think about the details. And the father said, should you have won, right? If you won against the Minotaur that you're going up against, I need you to come back on a boat with a white flag. This way I know you're okay. But should you come back and it's a black flag, I know that you're dead, that you're not on that boat. So Theseus goes through the works, right? And so even to the point he's praying to the was it the goddess of water or god of water? Don't quote me on this, guys, but a lot of information stored in this beautiful brain of mine. But he has to pray to the god of water, okay? So he's praying to the god of water because the waves are hitting the boat so hard that him and his men are about to drown. Now, what's interesting about this part is that he is told, in order to stop these waves from coming in, he has to release the love of his life on a deserted land, right? So, and the love of his life was actually the person who helped him out of the labyrinth. And the reason she was able to help him out of the labyrinth was because her father created the labyrinth to begin with, and she helped him with the red string, right? So this way, by the time he finished battling the Minotaur, he can use the red string to get his way out, okay? So, but he had to leave her behind. And on top of that, the waves were so bad that he forgot the simple detail his father told him of, like, use the white flag so that I know you're alive. He came back with the black flag, right, over the boat. And so his father presumed that, Theseus, his son, is dead this way. And so he was so overcome with sorrow that he took his own life. And it was when Theseus got there and realized what had happened, he forgot he missed the details. So he lost the love of his life in order to calm the storm. And in the midst of the storm calming and him passing over, he forgot the detail of hanging the white flag as opposed to the black flag. Okay, so you have the opportunity to not miss the detail, okay? So in this case, metaphorically speaking, because I don't know if your real father is still alive or not, and I don't know if this is supposed to be taken in a technical term, but you have the opportunity to hang the white flag, and you have the opportunity to not have to sacrifice the love of your life in order to calm the waters, okay? And in order for you to do this, you have to give up the ghost. What are ghosts? Right? And maybe that is something that you have to ask yourself. What is your specific ghost? What is the ghost that the universe, God, the spiritual realms want you to give up? Because it's something that you've been holding on to for a very, 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 very long time. It could be the fact that the Theseus card came out. It could be the regret of, let's say you lost your father. It could be the regret of losing your father because of the minor details or the details you were aware of or unaware of. You know what I mean? It could be anything. But whatever the ghost is, that's something that you have to release. Like, release it from yourself, release it from you. And I think that in releasing that from you, it also releases this disadvantage or disability you put on yourself. And maybe the disability and disadvantage you put on yourself is because maybe you believe you deserve to suffer by the hands of the power or the forces that be of somebody else because of what you missed, because of the details you missed, or because you could not save someone, or you could not save just anybody or the person you wanted to. Like, I feel like right when I'm closing up this reading, it's getting really deep. So give me one more card for here. Okay, so your card that came out was, so I'll describe the image to you. It's a robot's head and it has a heart in the middle of it, right? And it's all these like different wirings that lead up to this heart. And so the card says, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Neither the ones who think robotic ones can replace them. So, there's something to do with something artificial. Artificial something. Artificial ligament. Artificial. It's like artificial arms or legs. Artificial thinking. You have to artificial something that's artificial. Maybe you're used to seeing. Maybe your definition of what it means to be king, ruler, something of a or someone of a position of power is artificial, or maybe the way that a person carried their traditions and their rules and their power, it's a bit dated, right? It's like trying to give a 2-year-old, today's 2-year-old, the very first IBM computer in such a tech savvy era where it's just like you don't have to put in a floppy disk. You don't have to wait for things to load up. Something is outdated, right? There's an outdated belief a certain person or position of power holds. You know this and you have to release that. It's like releasing the tradition of, or maybe the definition of beauty. Maybe beauty is something that's always been like artificial to you. It's like, you know, there's something here. Okay, I'm just going to close out this reading because I feel like you know what I'm talking about. Another chess card comes out, right? You have to play chess in some sort of way. There's no way. There's so much strategizing going on in this reading alone. And this is only the first read. Okay. The card that came out says this queen is on a rampage. Use it to your advantage. It's lucrative and makes a statement. Apply pressure, push buttons, make a scene. They'll catch on. Checkmate. And that's in amongst your first set of cards about the King Jin dismantled, Queen Jin handled. You could be dealing with a parents. Okay, give me 2 more cards and I'm gonna get out of here. So my inspirational card came out and it says, you make the Grinches of the world want to be Care Bears. Okay, so whatever move that you were supposed to do, you did it to get that card. One more. Even the most dangerous tiger has a soft spot for his tigress. And that's the end of your reading. And at the bottom of the deck it says, you have passed. Gods are asking what you would like as a reward. Okay guys, that's your reading. Bye. Hey pal 2. Okay, so I wrote some notes down for you too, like I did for pile 1. This pile is for the teachers, leaders, and guides. And the quote that I got for you was, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil, right? And then I saw twins in my mind, and I saw girl twins in my mind, and there's something in regards to pronunciation, right? And something about spiritual surveillance. And the question that I wrote down for this pile is, are you who you say you are? And can that be proven when it seems as though nobody is watching? Okay, so let's get started on your reading. So the first card, that's my deception card. It says, wants the position of pharaoh or queen/queen, but can't handle prince and princess roles. Show them why you are chosen. Second card is, they will be left behind. They couldn't see your worth. It's too late if they do now. The third card is the Theseus card, and if you see on the card itself, like Theseus is, excuse me, it's a character from Greek mythology, okay? But he is fighting the Minotaur, but if you can see the card closely, half of the Minotaur is out of the picture. So it's like you're halfway through some form of battle and you're being guided back by love, or you're being led out of something by somebody's love for you, or love for something that they do. And it says, obstacle after obstacle, the only thing you can control is yourself. The next card is Amika's heart, saves hearts of the world. So if you're familiar with Amika, that's the robot that they came out with, and it's supposed to have like human-like features, which it does. It moves, it answers questions. But so you could be somebody in like you're either heavily into computers, or you could be, there's some sort of role you play with artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence at a mass scale, or that it's supposed to make, I don't know why I want to say it like this, but it's supposed to make the masses comfortable. So some sort of artificial intelligence security or something. Okay, and the fifth card is, I can give you everything you've been missing. You have to trust me. Let me in and trust me, please. Okay. The first card on the second row is, many sacrifices, many secrets, many regrets, but no one loves the way you do. Okay. The second card is, something needs to be asked bluntly without cruelty. And I think that's what it was. Like the question that I stated in the beginning, it's like, who are you? Right? Yeah, who are you? Who do you say that you are? And can that be proven when nobody's watching? And Needle in the Time Stack. So, and that's a movie. You should check out that movie if you have not already. The fourth card is, sometimes the best thing to do is close both eyes so that you can open a very important one. So that's your third eye. And the last card says, the gangster versus the businessman. Is there any difference? It depends. Right? So there's a part in the scripture, like when I pick up my Bible and I read, and there's a part where Jesus is asking, I feel like it's Jesus asking himself, right? But Jesus is asking himself, like, who do the people say that I am, right? And the reply was, some say you are John the Baptist, others say that you are a born again, prophet, and what have you. All these different answers appeared, right? And then he asked himself, he said, well, who do you think I am? And he told him who he thought he was, right? And then he said, tell no one, for a man must suffer many things before he realizes who he is. So, in regards to your question, I feel like you are somebody in a position of power, okay? And somebody wants your role, somebody wants your day to day, but it's just like if you cannot handle the role of a boss, like if you can't handle the role of an executive assistant, if you cannot handle the role of an intern, what on earth makes you think you can handle the role of a boss? Like this is what this gives me, right? So somebody looks and they're looking at it, they're looking at what you do as something that's easy because you make it look easy, right? Not because it actually is easy. You make it look easy. So, under this spiritual surveillance, you have to ask yourself, who is it that I am or who is it that I want to be, right? And I feel like when you ask this question, there's either going to be an increase of pay, there's going to be a promotion, there's going to be something that allows you to understand that it's not just you're not at the same level you were at a couple months ago, right? Or a couple years ago, or when you first started. So it's like you have to make that decision. Do you want to go higher, or do you want to stay where you're at, or do you want to just walk away from everything? There's a lot happening in your love life. Obstacle after obstacle, and needle in a time stack, something keeps shifting, or there's like multiple quantum shifts happening at once to where you're never really truly aligned with the person you want to be with. And maybe that's another part as to why this is happening. So let's clarify what you need to know most. They will be left behind. They couldn't see your worth. It's too late if they do now. What does that mean? Clarify that for me. Even though it was not clear what happened, you are not wrong. So this is something only you know. I think something that happened in one of your close relationships. Only you know what happened. And you have to ask yourself, right? There's something you have to ask yourself about that situation. This is a very, I want to say reserved group. Like whoever this person is, like whoever Big's about to, it's just like you keep a lot of things that you truly care about close to your chest. Like this is like you're not going to reveal your hand, right? And just as well, because I feel like a lot of the times when people have to go about living this way is because there's so many other people that are around them. It's just like, oh, well, they want to see where your vulnerability lies so that they can use it against you. So I get the sense of needing to be reserved and private. This person is no saint, no angel, but avoids devils with their good heart. That's why you like them. Appreciate their authenticity. I see two people here. I see a third party situation. I see somebody who is not single. This person has been in a relationship or is married or something, right? And it's kind of like when you're in a relationship and you know, like you're content, but it's like what needs to be asked bluntly is, are you truly happy, right? Something has to be asked with not with a sense of like harshness, but like, honest sincerity, like the way you talk to yourself is not how you would talk to other people. Or maybe it is, right? Maybe you're like just so used to having this poker face 24/7 that by the time you even get like an hour to yourself, it's kind of like you still have that same poker face on. So maybe the question is like just asking yourself, just 3 words, are you happy? Right? And allow whatever needs to come up, right? Sometimes we can put our best foot forward in relationships, and for no apparent reason, they just end. And we don't know why. Like, we could have tried to prevent it. We could have tried to make the other person the happiest they've ever been, and things just end. And sometimes that's just what happens, right? So I see 2 people here. With one person, it's like they couldn't see your worth. No matter how much you tried, no matter how much you did, what you put on the line for them, what you, like, just anything you were willing to give, you were just, it's like they couldn't see it. Like, okay, you're supposed to do that. If you're this to me, if you're my spouse, if you're my girlfriend, if you're my boyfriend, if you're my partner, you're supposed to do that for me. Technically, you're not supposed to do anything you don't want to do for somebody, right? But this is how this person moved. Like, you're supposed to be willing to do this. You're supposed to make these sacrifices. You're supposed to give up the eye for us when you get married. Supposed to. It's mandatory. Not really, right? And so I'm not going to be the person that comes in and tells you, oh, break up everything and go find your happiness. But at some point in time, something is broken, right? It's just, has this question been approached or has it been addressed? Something's just not working like it used to anymore. The system is not working like it used to. And it's like you keep trying to use old solutions to fix new problems. Equations. So the card that came out was equations are not invented, they are discovered. So this is not about replacing somebody because they're smarter, they're prettier, they have a different approach to life. They have everything they got going for them. This is not about replacing somebody because you think it would be the better fit, right? There is a natural understanding of this person makes me feel like I'm meant to be bigger and better than what I actually am. It's like someone that's being seen for the very first time in a long time, right? And the person who's seeing you is maybe not the person that you are in a relationship with. Maybe not the person you work closely with. Maybe not a person that you were even supposed to know in this lifetime. But they see you better than a lot of people see you. And they see you exactly the way that you see yourself. And I think that scares you. This is why you don't ask these questions, right? You do not want to ask the question bluntly to yourself, are you happy? Because if you ask this question to yourself with all sincerity, you're going to get your answer. So, discovering new solutions for what's currently happening in your love life and what's currently happening in your work life. A beautiful life and an even more beautiful end to this karmic cycle. That's the card that came out. Yeah. This is giving me the energy of somebody tried to ask about work, work related purposes, and it ended up being about love. And this is like someone who knows that their love life and their work life have to be intertwined. They just have to be. I don't know why, but they do. So, obstacle after obstacle. The only thing you can control is yourself. Needle in a time stack. So what came out was a military card. It was either you or them. War zone. I'm glad you chose you. I just see this as choosing to do. It's like coming out of the battlefield because you did what was best for you. Like you decided that your life was more precious than somebody who wanted to end it, right? Somebody who thought you were just disposable. You took a hold and you said, no, I value my life. I cherish my life. I want to live to see another day. And so in living to see another day, in whatever war zone you were in, you had to come to the conclusion also that in living, somebody else must go, right? And that's what you chose. And so I feel like this is a conversation between you and you. Like yourself is saying, well, I'm glad that you chose us. I'm glad that you chose to ask the question. I'm glad that you chose to be happy, right? Annika's heart. Hold on, guys. That fell on the floor. Okay, so what fell on the floor was my Nefertiti card. And it says, it's okay if you like them. They like you too. And then it's Annika's heart. So Annika being the artificial intelligence robot. So maybe there was something that you created. And you fell in love with this version of whatever it is you created. Okay? And so when we think about the many uses of Annika, right? And we think about what the intention is for humanity and bringing Annika and Sophia and all these artificial intelligence into the world where we can have like half of a quarter of a body of Annika delivered to our home, and we can ask it questions like an Alexa or a Siri, right? And so when I think about this, it makes me think about the time where my mom was telling me, she's like, I'm going to be the first bionic woman. And me and my brothers would laugh so hard, right? Because we'd be like, you're going to be the first robotic. Okay, yeah, sure, mom, right? But her mind is just like, she was a software engineer, and she would have all these different dreams about every type of thing you can think about. And she would tell us these dreams, like whatever she remembered. And she figured out how to do something, which I will not say because I do not want to be, So she figured out how to do something, and she was just like, this is so easy. How do they not see? Like, how can they not see this? And each and every time there was a moment in time where she kept confirming that she was going to be the first bionic woman. She kept confirming this, right? And so she had those moments, and when it came down to her later years, when she was going into her late 50s, early 60s, she was diagnosed with dementia, and she never told anybody for like a good amount of years. And so it was only when things were a bit too late that she just started to forget everything. Like she didn't remember anything she did like 30 seconds ago, let alone like years ago. She was just, she just wasn't there like she used to be. And I remember holding so much anger and resentment towards her, because it's just like in my mind, I'm like, how could you just leave me here to just figure it all out, right? Like, and of course I was responding from the standpoint of her daughter, but I was like very angry with her. Like, why did you allow yourself to get to the point you can't even remember me? Like, you can't even remember anything we've done. So, and I remember being filled with that like rage for a very long time, even when I decided to take care of her, until I couldn't take care of her anymore and I had to put her in a nursing home. And so there was a moment where I had left the place that she'd raised me and my brothers, and I decided to just go out on my own. And I was meditating on it, and I was thinking about her, and I said, her features, she looks a lot like the robot Amica, right? My mom looked like the robot Amica in her prime, right? So I thought about it and I said, no way, right? And I remember what she said, like she wanted to be the first bionic woman. And so one of my brothers came across one of her diaries, and there was a page where she just talked about like just knowing so much about the world that sometimes she wished she could just be a kid again, right? And just live from a state of innocence as opposed to living from a state of knowing all that she knew. And in a lot of ways, she got her wish, because in a nursing home, she's happy. And when I went to visit her in the past, she's very like kid-like. She's very childlike, right? And so when I think about everything that she wanted to be the first bionic woman. And then she wanted to be somebody who was a child again, because she felt like there was a point in time where she knew so much that it was, it filled her more with sorrow than it did happiness. So I want to say, in a lot of ways, this pile is like not so much it's careful what you wish for, as it is knowing that, like the spiritual surveillance that I mentioned, somebody or a force or the universe, God, spirit, however you take it, is always watching and is always listening and attuning to your every thought, right? So I don't know why I had to share that, but I feel like I had to. So sometimes the best thing you can do is close both eyes and open a very important one. So it's like tap it, like go within yourself and just think about it. Like think about what it is you truly want, because in a lot of ways, I had this idea in my mind that my mom was always going to be there. You know what I mean? Like she was, even when I turned like 40s, 50s, 60s, she was always going to be there dropping gems on me like she did when I was a kid. And she would talk, like as a kid, she would talk to me as though I were an adult. Like she would not baby me about a lot of things. She would shelter me, but she didn't baby me about like the conversations of the world that had to be had, right? So in the process of me meditating, I thought about it, and I thought about her being the bionic woman and her being the childlike presence that she is now. And I said, to have so much knowledge about the world and to put it to good use in such a way, because she was like she designed softwares for like the colleges she worked for, and she was just a highly intelligent woman. And I remember thinking, like, I'm so sorry that I was willing to be so selfish to want to hold that level of intelligence and love at the same time, all to myself or all to me and my brothers, and have it never be shared with the world. And I remember when I said that, and I said it from a standpoint of just releasing what was like bothering me. And I felt like she was listening. Like, even though she's still here in the physical, I felt like she heard me on a spiritual level. So, tapping in, clarify this card. A lot of conspirators, but it's the quote-unquote nobody that knows exactly what happened. So if this is in regards to you, right, this is your pile. You know what happened to someone. You know what happened. You know what was created or what it took to create something so highly artificially intelligent, right? Maybe you know a lot more than people don't know because of your line of work, okay? And so if you helped to build something or create something that was, maybe it surpassed your expectations and it surpassed the level of intelligence it was actually supposed to know or supposed to gather or supposed to take on, I feel like anything that you have created that, I don't know why I want to say it like this, but anything that you have created that you find at some point in time you have to go up against, if you had the power to create it, you have the power to take it down, right? So let's say that this is in regards to the level of consciousness. And so there's a certain level of consciousness in your mind that holds a huge weight of regret, right? Because of what you created or because of what you started. And you created it in your conscious mind. And I also believe you have the power to dismantle it. And maybe in dismantling it, a lot of things in the physical sense, because your consciousness is what you see on the external is a reflection of your consciousness. So if you have to dismantle it, a lot of things in the physical may have to also be destroyed or reshaped, right? So there's some sort of reform that's happening, and the way you operate and the way you create something that is supposed to be of service to humanity. Okay, so the card you got was Build in the Carolinas. And this is to clarify that I can give you everything you've been missing. You just have to trust me. Let me in and trust me, please. And the gangster versus the businessman. Is there any difference? Why build the okay, so Build in the Carolinas because the card that came out was an investment card, and it says this business to business is more profitable as a business to consumer. Adjust quickly. You created something that is equivalent to what you know you're worth, and you put it in a product. You put it in a product-based service or a product-based idea that has a lot to do with artificial intelligence, right? And it's given me like you create something you know is going to be so beneficial come 2026, right? And let's say they're only offering you, I don't know, 2.7 MNs, right? You know it's worth 2.7, you know it's worth 2.7 BNs, so you're going to reject the offer of 2.7 MNs, right? Millions to billions. You know it's worth billions, they're trying to give you like millions, right? But you know it's worth more than that, so you wait. But while you're waiting, you're very persistent. You don't stop. You don't allow somebody to lowball you or shortcut you. You just wait because you know you have everything that you need in order to make it your product. This is your product, right? And then let's say it only takes a few months for them to call you in and say, oh, okay, we're going to offer you this amount of billions of dollars. But in the process, maybe you have a person, a partner, or that's telling you, well, you need to take this deal, or you need to stay with this job. You need to do this because it's not beneficial if you wait. Because something is up in flames. I don't know if it's a bill. I don't know if it's like mortgages. I don't know if everything's piling up at once. But you know the amount of money you stand to get would be far greater if you just wait. And if yourself is telling you to just wait, and it's coming into the question of who do you want to be, then it would be best, it would be suggested to just wait a little while longer. Okay, that's your reading. Hey, Pile 3. Okay, so you have a few notes from yours, and the notes from yours says, you have the power, strength, and the forces needed to annihilate your brother. God is telling you, don't do it. Turn away from the fight. You know you can win. Yeah. So, the message that I got for you, Pile 3, is what is the representation of brother for you? It could be your biological brother. It could be brother from whatever perception you perceive or you have concluded brother is to you by the time I've said that. But you have the power to annihilate your brother, and God, the universe, source is telling you do not do it, okay? Because the war is already won. And then it makes me think about a Hindu story that my brother told me about. Is a man, he's standing alongside all the Hindu gods and goddesses of the whole entire world, right? And as he's standing alongside of them, before him is a whole army of people like that wants to come up against the gods and the goddesses. And so in the midst, before the army even approaches, the man asks God, if you have all these gods and these goddesses going up against the army, why do you need me next to them? And God replies to him, because the war is already won. So something is already won, okay? There's no need to go further at something or towards someone or battling someone or something. It's over. Like the war is over. Okay, so let's get into your reading. The first card is a decision-making card, and it's called Billionaire Bards. Okay, I'm going to get into that afterwards. But second card, get some rest for now. It's been a long time coming. Safe travels are forever ahead. The third card is rewrite the story, alter the past, then quantum jump. The next card is your love and healing abilities is not a game to this person. They want you off the market and in their arms. So this is in regards to love. And you have a hidden message. And the hidden message is it only took one kiss, one hug, one smile, one moment, and now they are in love with you. So somebody's head over heels, okay? Now for the second row, it says this person has a really good heart and will treat you with kindness. Second card is invest in a date with your love today in order to seal this successful deal of safe travels being forever ahead. And it's making me think about like something I came across on Instagram that is called a soft life, but pretty much a soft life, like the concept of it, I was like, this is interesting that this is in my feeds, but I'll explain it in a little bit. Next card is experience is life-saving. Talk about 24 minutes, right? And then the next card says, okay. And then the next card says, purchase a stress-free tea and their EFTs for a huge profit. And then you have, they do not move forward unless they get permission from you and their team, but that's in reverse. And then the next card is a military card, and it says, talk about Daniel in the lion's den, but that came in reverse. And then the last card is let them let them talk because you are a big deal. I'm censoring it because the card is a bit more graphic than that. But all right, I feel like somebody's hyping you up, right? So somebody is making sure that you are well respected, received, you have a good reputation, and you're recognized, okay? So being your bards, that comes from a book that I wrote about, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I wrote this book when I had absolutely nothing but imagination. I had barely any food. I was in college, had barely any food, barely any money. I pretty much did not have like anything besides knowledge, right? So knowledge, laptop, and my imagination. So I wrote this book about a whole bunch of like super successful behind the scenes African American billionaires. And these men were like powerful, like more powerful than, think of anybody. And I'm not talking about like just from a political standpoint. Think of anybody. Now go higher in terms of positions of power. Okay, once you get that position of power and those people, think higher than that. Okay, now think higher than that. Like I wrote them to be like really super powerful men, right? And so they created this this lifestyle, but they created this lifestyle for selected people that they wanted in their life, right? So everything, like they had very comfortable lives to say the least, but they chose specific people to carry out this life with. So, and then I found out about the term soft life, which this woman was explaining on Instagram. So a soft life is, from my understanding of what she was explaining, is you as a woman, you live a life where you are tended for, you're taken care of. You don't have to worry about the ins and outs of pretty much anything. Like life is so easygoing that it's just like, man, it almost feels like a breeze, right? But you are provided for by the man that you are either dating or the man that you are married to. And it's a soft life because you really don't have to do much of anything but just be as feminine as you want to be. Have a certain upkeep, of course, of like your body, mind, soul, spirit, and just live in luxury. Only demand nothing but luxury, right? So this is coming into play here because I feel like you have people out there that have money, they have power, they have pull, they have respect, and somehow along the way they have discovered you. Okay? So somebody has seen you either somewhere in person or somebody has seen you via social media, something. And it's like being selected, like you were chosen. Like there's a group of people that chose you specifically. Okay, so let's get into your reading. And I see I see 2 men and I see 1 woman, right? Under billionaire bars, you have somebody that respects you for your level of knowledge and for who you are. Somebody has a high, so you and this person, you probably have a high ranking in the spiritual realm. This person that sees that you are high ranking in the spiritual realm, this is why I feel like they want to choose you. Then you have 2 masculine energies. One is choosing you because they feel like you would be a very good investment. And you have another one that is choosing you because somebody knows you've been through hell and back and all they want to do is treat you with kindness. Like I see somebody going through the worst of the worst, right? And these were like all tests. And they're like, okay, this person has been through this, that, the third. They made it out. Then they went through this, that, the third. Then they made it out. Then they did this, that, the third. And then they made it out again, right? Somebody is choosing you out of mere admiration. And I'm going to say beauty. Okay, so let's clarify. Get some rest for now. It's been a long time coming. Safe travels are forever ahead. In order to know who did it, you have to follow the money. This is a power move. Okay. So this card was created because of a book that I read. And in the book that I read, this person was like these 3 men. These 3 young boys, they were accused of a murder for their principal, like murdering the principal, but neither of them did it. And then it's like, well, you have to follow the money. So there's a person who comes to them, right? And this person gives them the biggest lead ever. But this person is known as like Unc, right? He's the uncle of the community. And so Unc is the person who drinks all the time. He doesn't really have a place to stay. He sleeps on the benches in the parks and stuff like that. But his eyes are always open. He sees everything, right? Don't ask how, but he sees everything. He knows everything that's going on with the community. And so he comes up to them at one time. They're trying to figure out who murdered the principal. And he says, you have to follow the money, right? Because whoever did it was in a position of power. So I'm going to say, and chases is significant, the chase of something, chase. Or somebody's name could be Chase or Chase Free. There's somebody who knows that maybe in the past when you were suffering in regards to like keeping up with like payments, or you didn't really have much of anything to give, like you were living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Somebody knows who did it, right? It's like somebody knows who put you in a position of like, let's say, struggling financially. And once it's linked back to that person, it's like it's over for that person. for this card? This was somebody who wanted to prove a point of, oh, if I want you, like, this is the energy of if somebody wanted you in poverty, they'll put you in poverty. Or if they wanted you struggling financially, they'll push you to struggle financially. And so now somebody is following the hints and the clues of who did this to you. Somebody knows somebody in a position of power did this to you and wanted you to take the fall for something. But now, rather than you taking the fall, it's linking back to this person, and there's a tower moment happening for this person. Okay, sometimes the best love comes in unsuspecting packages. Yeah. Travels are forever ahead. Huge profit. EFTs, stock market, brokers. There's so much money. There's so much money here. And then I can also take this as it's somebody you were least suspecting that was actually looking out for you. Like you, this is so, like, and not to say it in like a disrespectful kind of way, but whatever is happening here on surface level is so above your pay grade that it's just like you would target me, like for what? Like it just, from the surface, it does not make sense why this person came after you. So I'm thinking this person could have probably came after you because and there's something to do with your packages, but this person could have came after you because they knew you were linked, or you would be linked to these other people who actually admire you and have chosen you for something. This is like pure, I'm seeing like pure jealousy here. Like somebody was completely envious of you. And like packages, I think about gifts, I think about what can be delivered. Somebody was jealous of your gifts, your abilities to see something. But they're not even, like, because of this, they're not even in the same realm as you, right? Maybe they have more money than you. Maybe they have more stature than you. Or maybe they had it. Maybe it was all taken away. But they can't even be in the same realm as you, and that's their karma, right? So let's say you're both on Earth. You both live on Earth. Some person lives in this state. You live in another state. Even if they came as close as like living in the next house down the block from you, or working right next to you, or working right alongside you, they can never be in the same realm as you. Like, if that makes sense. There's a lot of spiritual protection here. Unsuspecting packages. Let's see, what's this? They miss the late nights. They miss the late nights and the long, deep talks. So this is an ex. I feel like this is somebody you had past dealings with. And maybe you two didn't work out and they were like sour about it. And they said, well, you know what? If you're going to do this, then I'm going to... I'm going to try to make your life a living hell. And in the process of trying to do that, it's like people got word and they figured out, like, what's going on with this person? Like, why are they... And then they're linking it back to whoever this is. Whoever it didn't work out with. Somebody from the past that misses you. They were not successful. They thought they were going to be successful if they took some sort of fortune or deal with you. And it definitely gives me, like, again, like, I hate to use this because I feel like when things are trending, everybody and their mother uses this, but it feels like somebody wanted to swap your destiny. Like, I want the good fortune, I want the fame, I want the success. Let them take the back-to-back, debt, like, confusion, bad credits, like something like this. And I find it so weird when people think that they can do this to you, and it's like reading somebody's fortune, right? And the fortune, like, let's say the person who's reading the fortune says, okay, but don't mess with this person's fortune or else it's going to be bad luck for the rest of your life, right? Especially if you get caught. And this person says, oh, okay, well, they have so much power and they have such a positioning that they're not going to get caught. And by the time they get caught, they're going to be, covered in so much money, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. And it's like everything gets taken away. This is what this feels like. It's like somebody really put all their eggs in one basket in hopes that they can take away a whole farm from you, and they can't. So I don't want to delve too much on the past because I feel like I don't want to give this person too much energy. I only feel like this person misses you because they had everything ripped away from them because of what they tried to do to you. Rewrite the story. So now it's like your higher self is asking you to do like a past life revision. So it's like, rather than, let's say it didn't work out, right? It didn't work out. You wish it could work out, but you know it's for the best. Rewrite it in a sense of like, you know what? It worked out for our highest, best possible lives. Separate, not together. We're not meant to be together, but this worked out for the best outcome for the both of us, especially for you. Like, you have to put it in such a way where by the time you quantum jump, this person never even existed. And I think you're going to know exactly what I mean. Add a beneficial element to your H2O. Yeah. It's giving me like healing properties. Like if you drink certain teas, like add something more to the tea, right? Like let's say you're used to drinking cinnamon and cloves and a little bit of brown sugar. It's like add something that's going to be even more beneficial. There's something internally that has to be cleansed from you, and it can be cleansed physically using one of the herbs, like one of the herbs of the earth. And it's not only just like a physical cleanse, but it's like a spiritual cleanse too. And it's like your love and your healing ability. So intention. And this is like your personal intention. The next time you drink some water or some tea or some juice, whatever it is you like to drink, put a special intention on it, and that special intention is going to be protected. So let's say, God forbid, but even if this person that wants you to just live in God knows what kind of unforsaken hell, right? And they try to impact your words of intentions. Like, I see your words being so protected that the minute this person even fixes their lips to try to mess up your words and mess up your intentions, or like swap your intentions with theirs, it's just not going to be a good look for them. Like, I don't see this benefiting them in any way, shape, or form. You're not even in the same realm anymore. So your healing words, like speak healing, happiness, success, prosperity over everything, especially what you consume. In this case, you can remove yourself from the equation. Theseus versus thesis statements. Yeah. You tell yourself, you make the decision. You're going to know when to quantum jump. You have to make this decision and give yourself permission to move on from the past. Give yourself permission to move on from this person. Give yourself permission to make sure when you move on from this person, that you move on in such a way that this person no longer exists. Not in your mind, not in your body, not in your soul, spirit, not even in your memories. This person there is no energy for this person to feed off of, to find you, or to jump with you, or to like cord your energy and keep, because this is like somebody who, as long as you give them energy of the past, like, oh, it didn't work out, but they did this and they did that. They try to like hold on to that and just leech off of your energy. And they could be at a distance from you, or they could be very close. But it's no longer working. Like, you want to get it to the point. You shift your energy and you shift your mindset in such a way where even if they were 2 centimeters away from you, they cannot siphon your energy. So yes, moving on from this, right? It only took 1 kiss, 1 moment, 1 hug, science versus spirituality, logic versus faith versus fate, right? I heard if you only knew who knows you, you'd freak out, right? It's like if you only knew who was watching, looking after you, protecting you, guiding you, making sure you were okay, you would be like, no way. But how does this person even know me? Like, you would freak out. But this is a result to not only revising your past, but understanding what realm you want to be in and how you want to be seen and how you want to be treated. You have some people here that are well aware of like who you are because they were watching, protecting, and guiding you through it all. Okay? These are also people who know how to quantum leap and quantum jump and be in the same realm as you just to protect you, just to make sure you're okay. And so they are looking at you with a pair of like, I wanted to say googly eyes, like like that emoji with the heart-shaped eyes. Like, they're looking at you like this and they're thinking to themselves like, wow, like you truly are a wonder to a lot of people, a lot of like highly influential people. So let's close out the reading. Oh my, I can't, all these cards, I have over 160 cards in this deck. The card that came out was, if only you knew the level to which this person admires you. You have no idea. Like, all the cards, I could have pulled out anything. Okay. 2 more cards. It is, what do you want pile 3 to know? Family is everything. Nurture them and they will nurture you. This does not have to be, when I say family, it does not have to be biological family. It doesn't have to be your immediate family. Heck, it could have been your biological and immediate family that put you in a position of, oh, you're always going to be in debt. I don't know, right? But the family that makes you feel loved, appreciated, adored, right? Nurture them. Your soul tribe family. Nurture them. Your soul being, the soul that's within you. Nurture that, right? And a lot of things are coming into fruition. One more. You control my tempo and you can run my show. Musician in love. So there's a musician that is so in love with you because you bring them a lot of happiness. Like, where they once had faith, right? Not faith. They were missing the I, right? But where they once had faith, they now have faith, right? So this is somebody who sees you as very deep. This is someone who, like, you are a big deal to this person. Like, you can run their world if you wanted, because they know, like, this person knows you're a good person. You have a really good heart. So they would give you the control and the reins of anything because they know you will add to them and you won't take away, right? You'll take away what's necessary, but you will just, you'll keep adding to them. Okay, and that's the end of the reading. The last card says, the last card says, make love to me tonight and you will cease many future wars. Yeah, somebody wants you. Somebody wants you. Bad. Okay? Okay, all three. That's your reading. Bye.